Today, an indictment was unsealed, charging Donald J. Trump with conspiring to defraud the United States, conspiring to disenfranchise voters, and conspiring and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding.
At the center of the legal problems now engulfing Donald Trump and Hunter Biden is the refrain, "No one is above the law."
Hunter Biden, if you are watching this right now, you are not above the law, and justice is coming for you today.
The silver lining in this standoff between left and right is the presumption that the rule of law itself still matters, and that this idea is a bedrock of civilized order shared beyond the United States. But the global rule of law, as it has existed since World War II, may be under challenge now.
What's happening at the front line right now is a disgrace that we should not be part of. We should wait for the moment when we can show ourselves and our full strength.
Yevgeny Prigozhin is the head of the Wagner paramilitary group. Addressing fighters at their new base in Belarus in July, he said Wagner would be ending its involvement in the Ukrainian war for the foreseeable future. Instead, their next assignment would be in Africa.
Their track record in the countries where they operate is really appalling. They are engaged in gross human rights abuses, including extrajudicial killings. They are engaged in looting, and they are also engaged very heavily in information manipulation.
Following its so-called mutiny in June, many were left with the impression that the Wagner Group is mainly an odd, if formidable, collection of guns for hire. It is more than that.
Wagner Group is a formation that respects no rules. It doesn't operate within any legal framework.
According to a detailed examination by this newspaper, Wagner isn't just a mercenary army. It's a military, financial, and business organization that operates worldwide outside the established rule of law. It is off the grid. At the center of all this sits Yevgeny Prigozhin, a thug who operates some 70 linked companies that variously conduct nominally legitimate business in real estate, government contracting, oil, mining, and natural resource development.
His collaborators, his organization is being sanctioned for concrete things they have done, be it in Ukraine, be it in Syria, be it in Libya, be it in Central African countries.
Prigozhin has taken the Putin era to its logical endpoint. If Putin could turn Russia into a pseudo-democracy based on oligarchic corruption, Prigozhin saw the possibility of creating a multinational pseudo-corporation in business with willing sovereign governments.
You cannot afford to have an autonomous military unit which claims its independence, which is a private military company, in the middle of a very serious conflict that you have. I hope that the Russian military command will learn its lessons and that such thing will not happen ever again.
Prigozhin's message, amplified by the recent coup in Niger, is simple. Grow up. The world is returning to survival of the fittest. All your rules be damned. I'm simply a rational entrepreneur creating a parallel system without the burden of accountability.
We call for the immediate release of President Bazoum and for the respect of the rule of law and public safety.
From Prigozhin's perspective, the future is China's Xi, North Korea's Kim, and Russia's Putin, who recently issued this warning to Poland, worried they could be the next target, given the Wagner Group's training of Belarusian troops on its border.
It is a fact. Western Polish territories are Stalin's gift to Poland. Have our friends in Warsaw forgotten about it? We'll give them a reminder.
Back here at home, there is a lot of discussion regarding the public losing faith in its governing institutions. I think Prigozhin's bet, and Putin's and Xi's, is that the American public will increasingly see their system the way Prigozhin sees his own, as rigged and corrupt.
Nobody's above the law, but the law needs to be above politics.
Donald Trump's original appeal was his willingness to run roughshod over the opposition. But we see now that the Trump political model includes running roughshod over whoever or whatever stands in his way, including his vice president.
We're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help, we're going to try and give them the kind of pride and boldness that they need to take back our country.
On the other side, President Biden has repeatedly said he knew nothing of his son's business ties.
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
Then came this week's revelations from Hunter's former business partner, Devon Archer, that the then vice president did, in fact, speak with business associates.
Hunter would put his father on speakerphone with whomever was at dinner, and there was no indication that he had any idea who was at dinner with them.
I don't think Donald Trump, Hunter, or Joe Biden have to go to jail to ensure respect for the law. But it matters a lot, considering where the world is going, for the U.S. to remain a credible example of a functioning rule of law, no matter who.
These activities of Wagner Group, they constitute a threat because they endanger the international peace, international stability, and as I mentioned, they don't operate within any legal framework.
Doing that will make it a lot more likely that the Prigozhins of the world are wrong about us and won't win.